Right, perfect. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Elery Rojas, and I'm an accounts partnership manager here with Wix, and I'm excited to show you all on how you can launch a business with Wix. And so some of the things that we'll be covering is just talking about how to plan an online website, how to design your online website, but also how to manage and at the same time be able to promote your site. Okay, so for many of you here, we might have a variety of reasons as to why we're building one. I like how Odin mentioned, hey, it's a project, they have to, they don't have a choice. But at the same time, for many of you that are coming in via Zoom and beyond, I want to say there could be a plethora of reasons why. And so some of these steps that we'll be discussing today really get you to that process. And so the very first one is really understanding and defining your unique selling proposition. And from there, it's just essentially knowing why you're special, right? What sets you apart from others? And then being able to organize all the content that you'll be using to add to that site. And lastly, we like to add at the end, being able to design the site for sales. Or if it's not sales, then just being able to design the site for your visitors, really depending on that, on number one, right? What's your purpose and what sets you apart from others? And so as we kind of go and through each and every one of these, I want you all to kind of think about, what does it mean to have a unique selling proposition? What makes you special? What defines you? What sets you apart from others? And why do you think other people should be purchasing your product, your service? And understanding the main question that is the reason why many people invent anything, right? Or why they sell something. They're trying to define a problem that they're trying to solve for that customer or that client. So once you have that in mind and you understand that, it's really going to help you to keep the product in mind or the service so that you can start building out what that would look like on an e-commerce store, right? So having that in mind, we kind of have a nice little example that I like to show here. And this is going to be celebs on sandwiches. And as I go through the site, I'd like to hear from all of you, even the ones that are in person. Go ahead and shout something out. Odin, feel free to either type it in or just unmute and let me know what they say. For those of you online, feel free to add it in the chat or also unmute. Let's make this as interactive as we can, right? So for the celebs on sandwiches, I'm going to kind of glide through and scroll through the site. And I'd like to hear from all of you. What are a few things that kind of come to mind? What is their unique selling proposition and what are they selling? What is this? So just kind of...
I was going to say, it's like a bunch of sandwiches. Sorry, I probably should have raised my hand. Yeah, I think the selling proposition is they're trying to market themselves as marketing to the average person who's looking for a sandwich, but using a creative, unique way of bringing all different kinds of people from different cultures, potentially, and saying that everyone can buy a sandwich no matter what your background is.
I love that. Yes. And you'll always notice this site. It's one of my favorite ones because it's different. It's unique. I don't want to say that they're selling sandwiches. What are we selling here?
Somebody here saying prints/artwork.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, look at Nick Cage on Con Air. Hopefully you've seen this movie. I don't know if I'm aging myself, but very good movie. His hair is flying through the breeze. But yes, every time that something happens in media or there's a new artist, they update this very quickly. They are definitely in the know when it comes to a lot of their highlighted brand items. So absolutely, that's what we're doing. We're selling prints, people. We're putting celebrities on sandwiches. So this is such a unique and different kind of customer, client, and also a unique kind of seller, right? I do want to mention when we first started looking at the site that was built on Wix, there wasn't that many categories, right? They were just starting out. So now what they've been able to do for the user to make it easier for them is they created categories and now they're able to navigate, right? So they came up with, hey, how do we go on ahead and organize all these prints that we're getting and we're creating? And how do we make it easy for our users to go on ahead and navigate? So you'll notice that they've also added gift cards. They've also been able to include a page with press releases on where they've been highlighting, and then also being able to contact them very easily. Very simple page, right? Very nice and airy and bright, and very easy to see their products. Okay, you'll notice that at the very beginning, when you first come into the page, you're also getting a call to action, which is what you want your user to do. Every time you go into a website, you always have calls to action. And that is what the seller or the owner is trying to create urgency for, to have your visitor do. And the first thing that they do is showcase how they have new prints. So you already know that if you come once, you're probably going to be coming back. So it already gives you an idea of where the seller is coming from and how they tend to have repeat customers. Okay. So that's one great example that I like to show on one business type. Now, it leads us to what our target market is, really identifying who they are, finding out who this client is and learning about them, but also being able to keep them coming and attracting new business. Once you're able to determine who your target market is, it goes back to, what are you selling and what problem are you solving? You're going to really be able to find out how to keep them coming in. So these are things that you want to think about as you're building out your sites. Now, I'd love for all of you, for many of you, you're building it out and you have a project. I'd love to know, who's your target market for your business? Feel free to add them here in the chat. I'd love to hear them too, Odin, if they have anything that they'd like to add. I don't know if you have them in groups or if you have them individually, but I'd love to hear the target markets for each.
Totally, yeah. I think your group had a very specific target market. Baseball pitchers is one of our markets.
Baseball pitchers?
Yeah.
Actual baseball. Okay, great.
A very niche product in that group.
Yes.
Any other groups of the target market they've already decided? One I think was children's wear, like parents.
Anyone in the Zoom, feel free to add it in the chat. Or unmute, we'd love to know. Who's your target market? Who are you building this site for? Who do you want to purchase your item or customer or client? Anyone else? Okay. So having that understanding, at least there's two groups that know what they want to do, is going to help them kind of get started in getting those wheels turning, right? So once you have identified that, it really helps you to gather that content. What do I mean by that? Being able to have and plan ahead of time so that when you're in creation process of the site, you don't have to worry about rummaging or looking for it. You want to have it all ready to go. So whether it's images, products, descriptions, you mentioned baseball pitchers. I imagine there's going to be a lot of sizing. Maybe it's gloves. I don't know what it is, what that product is, but being able to identify what that is, you want to also showcase, do they have different colors? Do they have multiple products? Are there variable sizes? All these things are important, and you want to have it all laid out ahead of time before you start the process of building the site. I have added a little bit of a checklist for you, and this checklist is something that you can add to and create on your own as well. Everyone has a different target market. Everyone has maybe a little different kind of product or service. So this just gives you a nice starting point of what that would look like. And it could be anything from a summary of your company mission, your goals. Maybe you work in a team. I heard that these are projects. So how many of you are on there? Maybe having a description of who they are. What if you have collections, right, of your products? Is that something that you have? Being able to create and add high quality images and videos. So just a variety of things that you want to think about and add to your checklist. And beyond your checklist, I also have included 2 different site maps. For all of you that like to make lists, but maybe work better visually, and that's how I like to work, is visually. I've added these site maps because these are going to help you organize yourself on the flow of what your page is going to look like. So here in this example, you're able to see that you have your home page, which is your landing page. Perhaps you have several pages that you'd like to create, maybe an about section of your company. Maybe that page has a subpage that includes your team members and descriptions of each one. Maybe it is a type of company that has a variety of users. Maybe you're thinking of having, I don't know, maybe it's a marketing company and you're looking at having 3 team members. One usually does the images, one is a designer, and the other one does press releases. Maybe you have 3 different areas. It just depends on what it is. Maybe your second page includes services, your products. And then from there, you notice that you have some subcategories of what those services could be. And then last but not least, a nice contact page. So we definitely like to keep to the rule of thumb of having 3 main pages. Our second site example includes, maybe it's attire. So I added an example here of maybe an about me housing your team, and then maybe a little bit of the story of the organization or the company. Maybe it even adds something about your philanthropy. It just depends. From there, you have a nice store page landing, and then including categories of what that where could service, right? Adult, whether it's adults or kids. Maybe even having a sales section. This really allows users to focus on maybe affordability, and at the same time helps you to get rid of any material that you have, and so that you don't have overhead costs, and getting rid of those materials that maybe weren't super popular, or maybe they are popular. I don't know. It depends. Maybe they're also depending on different times of the year. So we also have, again, our contact page. You want your visitors to be able to contact you. Any questions so far on any of these site maps?
Actually,
and flows?
that's a question. I have a
Yes.
question. So would you put this at like the top of your website or like at the bottom? Like, I'd imagine you'd want it at like the top of it when you want people to go to like different parts of your website, right? I mean,
That's a good question. So this site map is there to help you see and organize the flow of your content of your page. And an example of this is going to be, we have here a page that I'm going to show. And this is a company, and I want you to kind of think of what it's going to look like to build my site. You're going to have a template, so you don't have to worry about building it from scratch. You'll be able to choose that. And so when you're choosing templates, I really want you all to think about that flow and how your customer and your user and your potential client is going to navigate it, just like you would any website that you go on. So for example, when you say, am I going to have this at the top of my page? Do you mean the actual site map or the actual flow and the names and the titles of the pages and menus?
okay. That's very informative. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So his question was, well, do we have the sitemap showing? Is that something that we do? No, this is going to help you organize what your template and the flow of your page will look like for your company, right? And so in this example, we have Evolve, right? This was one of those stores that was forced to close during the pandemic, and Randy Pitts had to pivot. He's like, oh my gosh, I have to close my brick and mortar store and my little fashion boutique, but I don't want to lose my customers that I have. I mean, this is making good money. So why don't I just go on ahead and add it onto a website, right? And so from here, you're able to see, hey, not only am I able to keep surviving and thriving, but I'm also able to start reaching out to even more customers. And you're going to be able to see that he has his own style. He has his own way to have his images and his items pop. In our first example, we saw that it had a white crisp background, and it really highlighted the different prints. In this example, you're able to see that he's added a black background, and you're able to see the images and the galleries pop against that, right? So he's added many sliders. He's added many call to action buttons here for his customers. You're noticing a trend of the things that are most popular, and some of his attire and some of his footwear is maybe something that sells very quickly. You're also able to see that the jeans are something that sell very quickly. So you're easily able to navigate the page. You're really easily available to go on ahead and navigate each of the products. So as you click on them, you're able to see the sizes and be able to see all the different ways in which you can pay, and then easily be able to just add it to your cart or add favorites. And from there, you're able to see how easily the user can navigate and add it to their cart, right? So just like that, I've been able to add my products. I know this is something that we do every day, but once you're building your own commerce site, it's like a whole other world, because now you're paying attention to like the psychology behind why things are being built and how they help your customer and your client purchase these items. I love the way that he chose a menu that enlarged the view of all the different variety of items that he could sell. Notice that he uses a white background to kind of pop against the black as well. So now he's using two tones. He's able to showcase the brands that he sells, and he's able to really highlight those things very easily and quickly. And at the same time has a nice little sales site. I always go for the sales personally. So I hope that helps you kind of understand when you're going from flow to choosing an option and building your site. Okay. Any questions there?
I just had a quick question. You said
Yes.
like a rule of thumb could be like 3 main sections at least.
Yes, when
so-
you're starting out, at least 3 pages, because you can easily go crazy. Like he's been doing this for a while now. So you'll notice he has a shop page, a new arrivals page, brands, because he partners with a lot of brands, clothing, he's got categories built in the menu, footwear, accessories, like he's got a lot of things going on in here. But when you're starting out, can you imagine starting out with like 7 of these menu buttons? That's a little overwhelming, just a little bit. So it's recommended, hey, start with 3. If you need 4, I mean, you're going to know, because you're going to be able to identify that in your flow. How do you want it? You want to organize it and have subpages and have categories? Like, what's your product? What is it that you're selling, and how do you want to display it for your client? Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, totally. So it looks like on this particular slide, you have 4 separate like areas basically of your website.
Yeah. And this is like suggested, this little one here. It's like a sale. People love sales. These buttons always get clicked on the most. And then I did in the first one also add a blog because blogs are really easy ways to create search engine optimization. I'll talk a little bit about that. But it's also a great way to connect with your users, telling stories. Where have I been? Where have I gone? Who are we working with? Things like that. Blogs are very popular. So I didn't want to abandon that thought. Okay. All right. So from there, we have our last step, right? We've kind of come up with our idea, our target market, all these different features that we'll need, and descriptions and checklists. We've created a flow. Then we've gone ahead and gathered all that content, gathered all that material, and have been able to really identify how we're going to be doing all of this. Now that you finish planning, it's time to design your site. And so, as I mentioned, with Wix, you have hundreds and hundreds, I want to say over 900 templates that you can choose from that have been curated by developers and designers, keeping the user in mind and being able to also provide them for free, which is a huge plus, right? So understanding what you want to have on your template and your page is going to help you come up with design, and then you can easily customize many of these templates to make it unique for yourself. Okay, so a few online store design tips. We've kind of gone through a few of these. So telling your brand story, always creating that connection is going to be key. Someone mentioned baseball pitchers. Hey, does that mean that you used to play? Is that a story that you want to tell? And you can kind of go from there and talk about that. Maybe you played Little League, maybe you played all through high school. People want to connect to that story so that they know that it's not just like this random person selling stuff like on Amazon, but it's actually someone who's passionate about the sport and the game, and they have an understanding, and people love that, right? Getting attention in the first fold, in that first welcome, being able to have calls to actions that make sense and that are simple, keeping your site well structured, at the same time being able to have high quality media, whether it's images or videos or content. Now, all of you are starting out, and so I'll show you how you can use media with Wix, which has thousands of images and videos and illustrations that you can use for free. You don't have to worry about licensing there. And also being able to optimize your store for mobile shopping, which our templates are already set up for mobile view, and being able to keep consistency in the brand that you're creating, making sure you don't change the images and the colors in the background, and that there's a theme consistent throughout your site is really big and important. Here is another great example. This is Celia B. And as you can tell in the slides that you're going through the site here now, you're able to see how different her site is and her clothing line compared to the other site that we saw, right? You're able to see that with her page, she went with light and airy with a white background. And you're also able to see that her clothing is completely different tone. Very bright, very vibrant. This is a Spanish brand. And so you're able to see that there's plenty of products, images, sliders. You're even able to see that she uses different shapes as well to highlight the different attire. And it's spring right now. We're about to hit summer. So before she had a lot of winter gear. Now I'm noticing on her site, she's already promoting her new line, which is a lot of the swimwear. So just a great way for all of you to see how easily that not only one, you can showcase yourself with color and tone and the way that you're displaying your images, two, creating that flow and those calls to action. You're able to see here that for her, she's also including her Instagram. So she's creating a following. She wants to make sure that you're up to date with all of her new lines that are coming in. And as you all know, social media is not going away. So if you're able to capture them on social media and you're able to also create a newsletter, notice that she wants you to constantly know what's happening, right? Think about all those emails that are coming in. These are great opportunities. These are all marketing opportunities. And at the same time, she's also leaving you a really good example to partner with her for wholesale if you have a boutique, if you want to email her directly. And then she's also letting you know, hey, we have a Pinterest and a Facebook too. She's shared all these different links so that you can be constantly up to date and following her in all these different mediums. So such a great way for you to see how easily she's able to kind of showcase her work compared to those two different designer pages. So from here, I just want to talk a little bit about managing the store. I know I talked about promoting a little bit and how you can use some of these tools in there, but through the dashboard, the back end, which is what we're going to go over, I'll also show you how easily you can see your orders, manage them, and manage inventory. Okay. All right. So we're going to be able to start practicing here. We're going to do a quick little demo and I can show you what that looks like. But at the same time, I'm going to be going over SEO, which is your keywords that you create for your site so that you can be found, and all the different marketing channels that you can see in the back end. Questions? Anything at all? Okay. No questions. I can't be that good. Christopher, keep me on my toes. You were asking good
I'll
questions.
try. I'm trying to.
Chris.
I'm trying to take in all the information. It's a lot to take in for sure.
It is a lot, but don't worry. You're going to get the slide deck so that you can kind of go through it on your own. And you have this recorded, I believe. So you'll be able to watch me again.
I can play and pause it.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and just check out the system, how it works, and any questions that you might have, feel free to add it in there. For all of you here in the session, I'd love to know too, how many of you have started the process? How many of you have started on Wix yet? Yes, no? Oh, Gabby?
At least one person here.
One person. Zoe. My onliners started before you. Okay, anyone else in the Zoom? Okay, all right, no worries. You're still in planning phase, which is a good place to be. You got to plan it out. I love this poll. Thank you. Yes, I have. Who has started on a website, Wix website? I have not yet. Okay, feel free to fill that out as we go through this process. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go to wix.com. You're going to log in. This is free. We're based off of a freemium model, so you don't have to worry about paying for a site. You're going to be able to create a username with your email. So students usually ask me what kind of email. I'll typically say use a professional email or a school email. If you're in a group setting, you're going to want to have one person in the group set this up, and then they'll add you as users, and I'll show you how to do that in the back end. From there, you're going to be starting the process. For those of you that are new, these are the different questions that you're going to be getting, which is essentially, hey, what kind of site are you creating? Who's this for? And, you know, let's start looking for a template for you. And so for me, I'm just going to go ahead and start skipping through these questions. Notice it even asked me, what do you want to name it? If you happen to name your page already, you can always rename it. I'll show you how to do that. But what Wix is trying to do is just kind of figure out the steps that we went through, right? Like, what's your business? What's the name? What kind of features do you want? I'm just going to unmark this and skip it. And from here, you're going to want to start with a template. Always start with a template. You'll notice if you're a brand new user, it's going to show you, let's go here to my page. It's going to ask you, hey, we're going to go to the dashboard, and it's going to ask you to start designing a site. Okay. I've already had open Wix account, so it's going to take me to this page, and it's going to say, let's start with a template. This is going to allow you to customize. I don't know if we can remove the poll that's here. It's kind of covering my view, but if you're wondering, what does custom built site mean? That's just a series of questions that Wix asks, and then it makes a template for you. The only thing is that it's going to be difficult to customize it. So you want to, especially when you're starting out, just kind of begin with a template, and this is going to take you to the templates page. So here's where you'll be able to see all these different templates that you can choose. And the best thing is that there's a variety of categories. So I'm not sure, Gabby, you have your hand up. I'm not sure if it's up or if it was from the poll, but let me know. Oh, no, it went back down. Thanks. So here you can start seeing, hey, what kind of business am I trying to make? What's my project? What category would it fall under? You know, what kind of store is this? Is this more creative? Is this in the arts? Is this more community? Like, what kind of business is it that you're trying to create? And so you have all those templates available. If you can't find something specific, you can always search it. And so I think for me, see with these two examples, children's wear and baseball pictures. Okay, so maybe we'll go into attire, fashion, clothing. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to pick one, And maybe what I'll do here is clothing store. You can easily go into any category. You'll notice that, again, our designers and our developers were able to create all these different kinds of industries and keeping in mind what the clients and the customers are looking to do. And you can always use any one of these, even if it's not within your category. If you really like the look, then go ahead and keep it. And if you want, I think we said children's wear. Okay, so I found this clothing store for kids. I'm going to go ahead and click view. View allows you to preview that template. It lets you do anything from previewing each of the pages. So this is me looking for a design that I like, that I know is going to showcase my product. I have here a nice collection page. I like the white background. I like how crisp it is. I like that there's a really nice page that tells our story, and it keeps within that 3-page minimum, right? So I have a home, I have a collection, something that talks a little bit about me, and then my contacts page, which is great. Here under story, I already know if I'm in a group, I can go ahead and add a section in here that shows my team members. And so I love the way that this page is actually set up. And I also like the way that it adds a nice little coupon strip up here on the top. So creating those calls to action for my visitor. Okay. Again, being able to preview everything. So what I'll do is choose this template just by clicking edit this site. You'll notice you can click that in the preview page, or when you are navigating templates, you can also click edit to get started on that. Any questions so far? Omer is typing away. So here we have Wix building out this template. It's building out the features. It's building out all of the different sections that are for the site that we saw that we liked. And so from here, it's going to build it out. Let me just start closing some of these pages. Okay, now that Wix has built it out, what you're going to be able to see is a whole view of it, right? It zooms out and you're able to see all the different buttons here on the left that are going to help you create your page. Okay, so you have your add elements page. This is going to allow you to add a variety of features. Please make sure you go into the section and play around with it. You have an add section. I'll show you what that is. This is going to help you navigate the different pages and also create new pages and create sub pages. And the site design allows you to customize, add color, add font, add a whole different theme to the site if you wanted to. And if you had any apps, maybe you want, I'm not sure if this one has an Instagram page like we saw in an example, but if you want an Instagram page added in here, you'll be able to look for that app, which is an Instagram app that's free. Any questions or details about your business, you can also click in here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the screen. There's 2 ways you can start customizing. You'll notice you have a quick edit button. When you click this, you'll be able to click on each section and easily start customizing it. So if you wanted to change the image, you'll notice that there are different items in the slides. There's these 3 pictures that you could change if you wanted to. Okay. You'll also notice that you have a section that talks about a new collection. Is that your call to action? You want to promote a new collection? For my children's wear, what kind of attire is it? I'd love to ask that, Odin. What kind of attire are you going for? What are we selling?
I don't think it's decided yet, unless anyone in that group can tell me. The children's clothing. I think for now, kind of generic. I don't think they've decided quite yet.
Okay, so let's just say maybe you had rompers, right? Which is something that I know as a mom, I like my kids to wear rompers. And so what if you had a picture here of a kid in a romper, and then you have, you know, a whole collection that you create of rompers. But just know that this is a really great way to just quickly edit a section, right? And you can even change a background if you wanted to. You'll be able to do things a lot quicker through this quick edit page. Okay, if you wanted to go to this section and start changing things, you could as well. If you want to do it one by one, all you have to do is double click on the screen, and you'll notice that each element that you click on, whether it's a text or a call to action button or an image, you'll have this floating menu pop up. These floating menus are what allow you to edit that element that you're clicking on. So when you're customizing your page, I know it might sound tedious, but it's important so that when you're completing your project and creating your website, you're able to easily edit these different sections just by choosing to either choose the quick edit button or to individually click on these elements and start editing them. So if I wanted this to be, I don't know, Betty Boop Kids, maybe that's the name of my store. I'm already customizing and editing it. And if I want to go on ahead and look at my menu items here, I want to maybe say that I want to create a sales section. So I'm going to easily start showing you how you can add a page and add sub pages to create maybe even categories of that kind of attire or work that you're advertising. So the very first button I want to show again is your add elements button. Something that I mentioned for you to just kind of play around with. Notice you can add text, images, other little buttons or icons that you can use. You'll be able to add sections. Maybe you want to have a video playing at the top. It totally depends on what you want to do. Maybe you have vector art that you want to use to maybe even create your own logo or add designs to your page. You have that available to you. Perhaps you want to add a gallery, maybe of different images or collections of work. You can add that as well. Just go ahead and play around with all these different sections that will allow you to add new elements to your page, to your site. Okay. That is our add elements button. Our add section button. I really like this page. Let me go here.
You don't think it'll take long, right?
Menus page. I think we have someone on not muted. If you can mute yourself, please. So I'm going to go here to our story. I'm going to navigate to this page. Okay. And I know this is a group project, so I'm just going to add a section here that's going to showcase my team. Okay. And just by clicking on the title, I'm able to see different examples. And so maybe I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this here. I want it to be under my image. And just like that, I'm able to see how easily I've been able to create my team. I'm going to remove this blurb. Okay. I'm going to move this up so I don't have so much white space there. And now I can easily say, hey, I'm going to change this image, add my team members, add their name and their description. So just like that, I've been able to, let's preview this. I can click preview on the top right-hand corner to see any changes that I've made. I can start talking about, I can change this picture if I wanted to. I can go straight into, hey, these are my team members for the collection that I've created. And then I have a blurb talking about my company and my store and what kind of, what's the deal with Betty Boop apparel. Okay. So here, you'll be able to edit that. You'll be able to easily click on this paragraph and start talking about it. Again, you can do that here easily by clicking on each element and clicking edit text. Or you can always use the quick edit button as well if you wanted to. So two great ways that you can easily go ahead and change that. Any questions about that, about adding a section?
Maybe you'll get into this, but I was wondering what the difference was between a section and a page, and if you have any kind of rules of thumb of like when should people use one versus the other?
Love that question. So when we talk, you know what, I'm going to talk about these two different things. Let me just get my name here. Betty Boop. What did I call my store? Betty Boop Kids. All right. I don't know if anyone used to watch Betty Boop, but I did. Betty Boop Kids. So what he's asking is, what's a page? And we'll go here under pages and menu. And here's where I'm creating different, not only pages that I can use that can be viewed, right, on a menu, okay? Or I can add a page, let me just duplicate this. I can add a page that's gonna work internally in the site. It isn't necessarily part of the menu. Notice that now another item has been added to the menu and it asks for more. So page 1, just gonna give it a name and I'm going to hide it just to give you an example of how you can create a page, hide it from a menu if you don't want it to be seen here, but it's still existing on the website, right? You might have a lot of that happening on many, many different websites. And so I've just created a page and maybe this page is going to be, I don't know, maybe this one is going to be talking, let me just delete this section, is going to be talking just my team. Maybe I'm going to have an about section, but this page is just going to talk about the team. And it's going to be able to describe them and talk about them. And I'm going to remove this section here. And it's just about the different students or the different partners that make up the team. And so I've just created a new section. I've removed it from my menu so that you don't have to really see it. But if I happen to navigate through it when my visitor is viewing it, or if I refer to it in another section, then I can always refer to it and find it because I've created a page. It's like a whole living section on your site, right? Think of it as a notebook. This is like another chapter of that notebook that you're creating. It doesn't have to be seen at the top level in a menu, which is what we did. We hid it. And so if I were to go under the page that I just created, that I included the section, he wants to know, well, what's the difference between the section? That's a part of your notebook, right? So if I would say a page is a chapter, a section is a paragraph, right? I think I'm using that analogy. I don't know if that's making any sense to anybody, but now I can go on ahead and say, hey, I have this about me section, our story section. I don't really want to house this here. So I'm just going to delete it, keep it straight up the story of and the about me of the company. But now I'm going to go on ahead and separate the section that talks about the different team members because I've created another chapter, another section that does that for me. So let's see, Omer mentions this looks much easier than, what is that, WordPress template that I use? Well, WordPress is a little bit more difficult and has a lot of coding involved. And I would say, yes, Wix is definitely for the novice user. It's so much easier and it's available for you to really just drag and drop. You don't have to kind of think too much about any of the back end uses that you usually see on WordPress. And so, yes, you can transfer your site wherever it's housed under and bring it under Wix without an issue. But yes, you may have to start from scratch on certain things because that's a completely different template and code. Over, so just so that you know that, but you can transfer the domain over as well. Okay, now when we talk about section, that's the difference between a page and a section. You're adding another layer to the page that you're working on when you're including a section. So for example, if I were to go to my home page, okay, or let's do contact just to do something different. If I were to go to my contact page here, and maybe I didn't have this map, right? Maybe I wanted it, maybe I don't like the look of the contact page. I can go here under section, and I can say, you know, I think I want to change up this contact page. I'm not really happy with it, the one that comes with this template. And I think what I'd rather do is add something that has a whole map and has all the details in here, right? And so I can easily remove this if I wanted to. I'm just clicking on the section and I'm deleting. And then I can easily just drag and drop this, and I just changed up my contact section. So section, page, that's the difference between the two. Does that help, Odin?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Now, besides that, let's just say you wanted to go on ahead and save this page. You're happy with it. You've edited it, your template, your site. You've been able to customize it. You've been able to have everything that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and show you really quick how you save it. Wix provides you with a free URL, which includes your email handle, .wixsite.com, and then you can kind of name it anything. So I'm going to put Betty Boop Kids here. That's my free URL that I'll be able to use. And let's just say I was ready to share it and publish it. All I have to do once this saves, it's going to open up a window here, and it's going to ask me, do I want to publish it? Publishing just means that your site and the URL are going to go live. So anyone that you share it with, it's going to go live. And so as that is processing, you're able to see how you have your URL that you just created. You can always edit that and then quickly click on the publish button. And within seconds, your site is officially live. So this site that I just created, I can start sharing this out and promoting it. And just like that, I'm able to see all the changes, all the edits that I've made. I'm able to see all of that in here. I'm able to see any pages that I've created and the different sections. So let me just go to my contact page because I know I changed that. So we changed the view of that. I believe we went into our story and we were able to change a little bit of the look in there. We kept it the same, and our home page. Okay. And I was able to edit my footer page as well. All right, so that's how easily you can publish any new edits or new products that you come up with and you start editing on the back end. You just publish again, and that will be seen and be viewed live for all your users to see. Now, someone's asking about SEO. Yes, we have SEO. Again, you can also edit any changes that you've made. You can start editing the mobile view. If you want to see what it looks like on a mobile device, you'll be able to see that icon here on the top left, a desktop and a mobile view. So if you wanted to see what that looked like ahead of time, you can easily click on that icon and navigate through the different pages as well. And if you wanted to edit any of the changes that you've made, you can do that too through the mobile section to start editing any of those things if you wanted to. Now, the dashboard is what I'm going to show you because that's where we get to do SEO. That's where we get to do all the marketing. That's where we get to use a variety of tools. I got to show you the editor. This side of the house allows you to add pages and make edits, customize it to make it unique for you, the template that you've chosen. And so you can easily go to the dashboard by clicking on the Wix icon on the top left, or by clicking on site and then going to dashboard. Okay, here what you'll notice, let me start closing some of these pages. Lots of tabs open. Any questions so far besides SEO? That's what I got to see in here. Okay, so for SEO, I'm about to get there. You're able to notice that there's a variety of different sections in here. So this template is a store. And so what I'm able to see here is all of my products. I can start adding them. Notice that it'll help you and guide you on next steps. So it's already asking, hey, you want to add a new product? Is it a physical item? Is it a digital product? You can easily choose that item. This is a clothing store, so maybe I want to go ahead and pick the physical item. And from here, you can just start building your shop. Add an image, add a description. You can even add videos as well if you wanted to. So let's just go really quick to add an image, and I'll add one product. And you'll notice that you can upload all that media. Hopefully you've gathered that content already, and it'll live there in your site files. I'm going to go here under media from Wix and choose baby clothes. Again, thousands of images that you can choose. And so I like these little nightgowns here. I don't think I see a romper in here, but let's pick, oh, I love these bunny ears. Okay, so, sorry, I'm getting caught up in the pictures. Here I can add a description, right? That's the name. Maybe I put here hot item just to add some sort of urgency to it. Put here description. Maybe it's what it's made out of. I can add additional information if you have different things that you want to include in here. I can add that this little rabbit hat costs $50. I can say it's on sale if I want to kind of get rid of it quickly. I can show how much it is per unit if I wanted to. I can add a variety of options, maybe colors or size. I can turn on this tab and say, you know what, I have about 400 of these. And then you can start tracking the inventory and do all of that on the back end. Okay, so I'm just going to save this. Notice that it's reminding you, hey, you don't have any payments attached, right? Because right now this isn't a real site. I don't have to attach a payment. If you want to attach a payment to it, you will need to upgrade to a premium account when it comes to having your business here. So I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this and go to my collection here, to my store. And you'll notice that I have here my item. Okay, so just like that, you can add a product very quickly. I was able to add a description. Notice my little hot item button here. I can add a description in here and they can easily add it to the cart and start that purchasing process. But to finish receiving payment, you do have to upgrade, but your free account will let you go as far as going in the shopping cart. So just like that, you can do all the back end inventory. You can create categories. You can even create a back end stock section. You can see all your orders coming in through here. The back end is such a great, powerful tool. Everything could be done from your site that you're building. You can even have a section that has abandoned carts, just like you do. I don't know if this happens to you, but I have a lot of items in my Amazon, and then I get emailed that I have them there that I need to finish buying them. So you can add those features to your site if you wanted to, if you were a business that's ready to go. And then most importantly, for my wonderful SEO folks, besides adding contacts and seeing your communications, you can also build your SEO, your search engine optimization. And the best thing is that we've partnered with Google. And so we're able to be at the top of that search engine. And you don't have to pay for this. This is organic. So you're creating those taglines by simply answering the questions and adding them to any part of your website. This, when you first start, is going to add it to your website as a whole. But let's just say you added more pictures, more images, maybe blogs. You can add SEO to all those sections in your site so that when you're creating the different tags, when you're creating those tags, you can easily go on ahead and be found based on the tags that you've created. And so when I mean tags, I mean, well, what do those keywords look like? What do I want to add? I'm based out of Miami. So maybe I want to talk about, hey, I'm from Miami and I have baby kids clothing. That's my first tag. Maybe I want to be more known. Maybe I have bunny ears, hat for kids, age 3, age 4, age 5. I can be as specific. Think about how you would Google something. The more broad that you are, the less likely you're going to be found easily, right? Because you have so much competition. So you don't want to put, I don't want to put here baby clothes. Baby clothes would be a bad example. So I was specific and I said, man, what's something that's unique on my page? Bunny ear hats. Bunny ear hats, ages 3, age 4, age 5. So if someone is searching for that, that's exactly what is going to populate and what's going to be found. Okay, so here's another example here of another tag. Now that I have my keywords, I added 3 out of 5, my 3 taglines. You'll notice that Wix will say, okay, great, you have this, now finish connecting these different items and you'll be able to be found on Google. Okay, so easy organic marketing that you can do. Aside from that, you can do email marketing. You can find templates that you can create emails to all your customers, to all your potential customers. Maybe you purchase a list and you want to send it out. If you want to start doing marketing using social media, you have here Facebook and Instagram ads that you can create. You also have a variety of social media marketing items that you can use in here on the back end. You can even create coupons if you wanted to. So maybe there's a variety of holidays going on and you want to create that kind of sale and that opportunity. You can do that through here. You can even create your own logo if you wanted to. There's so many different things you can do on the back end. And this is just kind of scratching the surface really on the variety of things that you can do. I mean, you can even create your own app if you wanted to on the back end. So such a nice variety of different things that you can do when you're building your e-commerce store. And so from there, what you'll have is a variety of different resources here in your deck, kind of the things that we kind of gone through. I've added a variety of links that you can use, a variety of different tools that'll help you. For all of the students that are here in attendance, you'll be receiving a coupon code that's going to allow you to upgrade. So if you're interested in either having an unlimited or combo plan for a regular site, or for your business commerce site, you'll also be using the business basic plan. So this will be sent to you. I'll be sharing this with Odin and where is she? Paige, right? Hey, there you are, Paige. So I'll be sharing it with them and they will provide you with that. Once I get the total number count, Odin, I know that she was going to check with you. So from there, I've added more resources. Any questions that you can possibly imagine that you come up with, you can reach the Wix support site and it'll give you plenty of articles to go through. And then I also included a nice little e-commerce store planning site, right? We have anything that you can imagine that'll help you kind of guide you through that process. And so plenty of little sections that will help you build out your store and nice examples that'll help you too. There's nothing like examples that'll help you through that process. So my most popular FAQ questions, notice I have here transfer domain if you want to know how to do that. And then from there, you'll be receiving again the deck, the recording, and a coupon code.